Welcome back to Copper Star Precision, the channel dedicated to getting you more points at your competitive shooting matches. We're going over the NRL June 2023 Course of Fire. This is stage 2 in the booklet. It is called Sandcastle because we have some buckets here. The course description is as follows. On the start signal, you will engage the target in the following order and manner. 5-gallon bucket, 3 shots, 2-gallon bucket, 2 shots, the chair back, 3 shots, and the chair seat, 2 shots. Hit or miss, move on. Pretty straightforward stage. Just make sure you're doing the right number of shots in the right positions. And we have a single 3-inch target at 100 yards up with the target size down here. Relatively, I wouldn't say easy to hit, but a generous target size for 100 yards. Most really accurate .22 rifles should be holding about 1 inch at 100 yards, maybe 1.25 inches. So you have some leeway there, but obviously wind becomes a factor at those longer distances. So make sure you have your dope set for the 100-yard target. Make sure your parallax is set before you start the stage. And let's talk about some of this. So we've encountered the buckets and stuff a lot in recent courses of fire. So not much new to say here. I won't be needing the bipod. And, kind of pick your bag of choice. Again, I'm a huge fan of running things on plates, especially when we get to here. So I'll probably go with a plate. But for everyone who doesn't have a plate and a flat bag like this, let's look at what something like a pint-sized Game Changer would do. We're just going to throw that up there. And I'm keeping it sideways. I'm not keeping it up and down. So we're going to go sideways like that. I'll probably have a pump pillow or something. For the 5-gallon bucket, I think seated for me, and I realize that these aren't in the order in the diagram. I'm just, so you can kind of see the differences in height. I have them arranged like this. So I'm kind of a fan of 5-gallon buckets seated, and kind of using this pump pillow to fill in some of the gap. This is relatively comfortable for me. So I'm just going to find that far target. And from here, we're going to engage 3 times. Good follow through, watching the impact or the miss to see if we can gain some information from where the wind is going if we do miss. I like that. Some people do kneel. Get their knees really wide, come down. I know getting low to the ground can be difficult for some people, so you have to kind of figure out what works for you. If we go to the 2-gallon bucket, we're going to do 2 shots. So remember, 2-gallon, 2 shots. Let me just double check 2-gallon, 2 shots. Here I like to go prone, and again, having some sort of rear support just like that puts the rifle pretty level. So assuming that you're kind of at a flat range, or even if you have a little bit of elevation, you can change this. If you have elevation, you can make this a little bit lower so you're aimed up, but usually this works pretty well. I like the prone position here. It's only 2 shots, so we're gonna engage twice there. You kind of have to get low for this. If you do want to try something different, because I know I kind of talk about the way I would do it, but not everyone is as flexible. So I have seen people do something like this to get a little bit more height, extend the bipod legs. To me, this isn't as stable, but if you have trouble getting low, something like this might help. And then even with this SkyPod, you can bring in the legs even more narrow and basically balance on top of there. So here you can get a much higher position if you have trouble getting down very low. And then once we get to the chair, you'd probably ditch the bipod. Then when it comes to the chair back, 3 shots. So 3-2, 3-2. Again, using the same bag that I was using before, I'm going to drape this over. Now here is where I do take advantage of the fact that this kind of wraps around. This actually provides a much nice and stable flat platform. Bag down, rifle down, left support hand on the forend of the rifle. So it's going to look something like this, but mirrored. So I'm kind of using the weight kit here as an index point, using these fingers to grab the bag and hold everything together. So we come down here. Now remember, it's 3 shots. My torso is square to the target. And then I vary the height that I need by either making my knees closer together or further apart. Come in on the rifle, come down, find the target, engage 3 times. And then here is the really only weird part that you kind of have to think about before the stage begins. Again, much like with the ladder stage, you can't have a huge bag. And expect to see anything, right? Because that's going to block. So you need something that's low profile. Now when it comes to that, if you do this sideways, let's see, I should be fine. And about there, I'm starting to get some in the scope. So depending on how much elevation your range has and how high off the ground the target is, you want a pretty low profile bag. So this is the pint size Game Changer. It looks like that's gonna work for me, but that's where things like the flat bag come in handy. This is my rear bag. This is a X-Wing bag. This is even flatter, so maybe I bring that if I need to get even more flat. It's not as stable, but at least I can actually see what I'm shooting at. So all considerations off the seat of the chair. I guess you could do something crazy and maybe, I don't know, if you have like a triple pole bipod, you could go like that, but that seems a little ridiculous. Here, you might even take a seated position. And let's say you don't have a flat bag. You can go no bag, right? And right now it's tilted a little downwards. So what I might do is I might actually use my forearm that's supporting the rifle, put my thumb underneath, and then kind of like if you're holding a pool cue. So if you're holding a pool cue, or you make a bridge with your hand, right? So I can squeeze with my thumb underneath to raise the front of the rifle. So if I have a pool cue like this, I can use this bridge to kind of squeeze. So that would look something like this. I put my thumb under here, and then I can elevate the rifle by moving my hand. Again, not stable, but in a pinch, if you need something low, you can always use your hand up front there. So overall, something like pint size Game Changer should work for you depending on your scope height. But for most people, I think that's the way to go. So really, this is a one bag solution unless you want a pump pillow for rear support. And other than that, just remember 3 shots, 2 shots, 3 shots up here, and then 2 shots. Only one target, one distance. So dial your dope, set it and forget it. Dial your parallax. Don't have to touch anything. Just concentrate on making stable and clean shots, and you should have great success with this stage. If these comments and tips and tricks help you find creative ways to solve these stage descriptions and get you more points on the stage, then let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and as always, until I see you next time, score more points.